So today, let's talk about streaming and using the ZCAM E2 M4 to do so. Now, the ZCAMs all have the same features in order to be able to stream easily with connection directly either to a computer or on a network. The stream convert software that ZCAM provides is easy to set up. And so today, let's go ahead and walk through that and see sort of what we get. Let's do this. In order to stream, I had a couple things that I set up beforehand, one being a computer. On the computer, I am running Streamlabs OBS. It's a software addition or variation on the same OBS software that you could get online. Has a couple built-in widgets and a better UI, so I use that. I also had a RJ45 Ethernet cable for connecting from my computer into the ZCAM itself. And another option that you could have is also leveraging a network switch or a hub, or connecting it to your router interface within your own network. So in the example that I'm doing today, I connected it with a direct connection into my computer. I have a Dell G5 laptop, and I demonstrated on that. And I also have a Mac Mini, which the variations between the different software we'll go ahead and point out and talk about today. I'm always down for a challenge, so when I got the ZCAM, I didn't intend on streaming with it, but I figured I had some time last weekend, I'd go ahead and give it a shot, connect it up, try it out, and the results were pretty good. Now I am using an anamorphic lens, and I wanted to really test out what it would be like to have an anamorphic lens going through a stream. Worked out pretty well. Now the stream is a 16:9 and the anamorphic is not, so it had to have black bars on the top and bottom, but I already have a footer and header, so that seemed to work out just fine. All right, so let's first talk about why. Why would you use a ZCAM in order to stream? Now, this is, probably going to be more useful for people who have multi-camera setups, who want to have the best streaming quality, yet be able to have input sources from a numerous amounts of cameras. What I wanted to do was see how easy it was to connect the ZCAM to my computer to stream, and I also used my Canon EOS RP in the video that I did last week on the stream or live, and sort of demonstrated that together. So what we'll take a look at today is how we did that. So first things first is getting your computer and your ZCAM set up in one place. You want to be able to have your camera on you. Obviously, doesn't do much good if it's not pointing at you or something of interest. And also your computer there to be able to not only control the stream and so forth. A lot of YouTubers and content creators, streamers, have setups where their desk is sort of organized so that you have your streaming computer, you have all of your cameras, and you have the ability to, as you stream, be able to switch from one stream or one look to another. I use Streamlabs OBS, like I mentioned in the beginning, because I find it to be a fairly good interface and easy to work with. Now, I've done more streaming in the past than I do currently, so as I went through last week, setting it up was a little bit more challenging, or not necessarily challenging, but just took a little bit more effort and energy than I really wanted to. But still, we got the footage in there and got things running. So what I did was I had my ZCAM, and I had my laptop, and I'd already installed Streamlabs OBS. Now, one thing that I didn't do beforehand was necessarily download the stream convert software from ZCAM, so I had to go ahead and do that. That was my first step. Once I got that downloaded and installed, it was, I believe on the Windows version you should probably restart your computer. On the Mac version you don't necessarily need to. But then I connected my camera with the Ethernet directly to my laptop. Now, the tricky thing here is the interface of the ZCAM, or the ZCAM stream convert software, is that it doesn't really it's not intuitive enough to just sort of know how to go ahead and start it up. So one thing that I had to find out was you have to take your IP address of your ZCAM. If you're doing direct connect, there's an IP address that it gives you within the menu. You put that into the software and you click add camera. That will then add it to the Stream Convert software. And from there you could do that. Now I was trying to scan for cameras and thought that it would be smart enough to just pick it up automatically. It does not. So you have to put that in. The other thing that I noticed was the default IP address for the direct connect on the ZCAM was a little bit different than what the Stream Convert software was giving me. It was giving me, you know, on the last digit set, 1 when it should have been 10. Not a big deal, but if you're looking to just quickly get up and running and you put that in, it, you know, tripped me up a little bit on the second time I did it because I had thought that it was just 1, so I put it in and lo and behold, it wasn't, it was 10. So let me check my notes really quick. And the IP address that by default the ZCAM sort of sets itself up with is 10.98.32.10. Now, if you're not familiar with networking protocols and IP addresses, this is basically how computers on the internet use address-wise to talk to each other. So yeah, so the default of the ZCAM for the IP address is 10.98.32.10. Now, in the software, it had 10.98.32.1. And so when I added that, the default in there, it wasn't able to find the camera. So then I had to remove it and then add in the 10. So it wasn't that bad to do. Now, once you get the software set up, you get the camera recognized, there are numerous settings that you can do within the application. There are differences between the Mac and Windows version. So let's just talk about the Windows version. So first and foremost, I'm using an anamorphic lens. I'm using the same lens I'm using now, and I need to de-squeeze that when I go to stream. Now, that option is available on the Windows version, but not on the Macintosh version. That's a little annoying. So if you're using a Mac, I would suggest you use just regular, you know, cinema lenses, not anamorphic, you know, go spherical. And then also, you know, you want to set up your look. I switched mine from the regular Z-Log flat profile to a Rec 709 LUT that I had loaded. That way it looks a little bit better as you push it over the stream. Because obviously when I film flat, but you know, streaming, you don't have that opportunity. I also increased the bit rate to, I believe, 10 megabit per second, so that your stream is getting enough data through. And I played around with the different frame rates. Now, I thought that I'd seen some H.265 options for streaming, but when I looked in my Mac again, it only had H.264, so I might have missed that. And then it was fairly easy. So once I got all the settings down and everything set up as it should be, it was time to then connect it to OBS. Now, the instructions that ZCAM have on their site for how to do this, they use NDI. NDI is a sort of interface for detecting streams over a network. And really getting the NDI plugin to work in the Windows environment wasn't working as well, probably because I didn't restart my computer after I installed the NDI plugin. On the Macintosh though, it works great. It picked it up right away. I didn't need to restart it. It was really easy to do. And I don't know if there's a benefit over it, because on the Windows version you also have a virtual camera option. So it gives you the ability to just treat your ZCAM like a regular webcam. And so that was super useful and easy to do. Now that's what I did for my stream last week, and it worked out really well. On my Mac, I used it as an NDI. I'll probably use the Mac a couple times. I'll use the Windows machine a couple times just to see how it works. But overall, it was fairly easy. I didn't really have any issues with it disconnecting or having any lag. I had a monitor set up for the ZCAM, and then I was also monitoring it on my laptop. So it seemed to be doing really well. Now again, it's not going to pass you know, the audio channels necessarily into the streaming software, so I did have it set up to take audio from a microphone that I was using and not from off camera. Other than that, that's basically how it went. Now I'm going to try and do more streams with the ZCAM, see how it goes, see really what the benefit might be using it. But I could really see if you have a studio set up where you have multiple ZCAMs and you wire them all in and you're switching between all of them, and you don't have, you know, like a video switcher, it might be really helpful to do it like that, and just use the software in order to do the mixing between the different video sources. Other than that, it's really good, and it worked really well using this with my EOS RP camera to do the mixed stream, and you know, the only downside to the stream was the ZCAM is a little bit larger with the anamorphic lens on it and everything else that comes with, so you know, finding a space to put it was a little bit challenging. So I don't really have my studio set up to do that, so maybe one day. Alright, well, I hope you found this useful. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. I know a lot of you who watch this video aren't subscribed, so go ahead and do that while you have a chance. And we're going to be producing content on a fairly regular basis, and hopefully you get some use out of it. So go ahead and have yourself a great week, and we'll see you later. Have a good one.